Yo, what's up YouTube? Mac here with another video. Today we got Power Book 3, Season 2, Episode 1 of Raising Kanan. Highly anticipated Raising Kanan. Now I believe it's only highly anticipated because we haven't had any power in a while. So I'm glad that we got something. You feel me? Just a little something. But with that being said, there's a lot to unpack in this episode. I'm going to get to that in a second. Y'all going to see the chapters so y'all can select what topics y'all want to see or just watch the whole video through. But before I get into the episode, I'm going to talk about my overview and how I feel about the show. So let's get into it. Alright, so boom. I'm going to just rip the band-aid off and say on my chest, Raising Kanan is easily, by far, my least favorite power book. You feel me? Easily. And the reason being, we saw Tariq grow up and become what he has become now. Now he's on his own. He's on his own journey. Let's see if he can live up to his own potential or fail, trying to be like his dad. You know, there's a lot to unfold in that aspect of the power book. What is it too? And then we got Tommy. You feel me? Tommy, we all fell in love with Tommy's character, and then Ghost died. And we were like, man, that's tough. Tommy was already starting to break away from Ghost at the end of Power, but now he's really on his own. And he's running things in a whole different setting in a different city, in Chicago, all by himself. No army, no nothing. He got his brother with him, but his brother, he's not really about that. You feel me? So we get to see him on his own, and he's running things. Now, with Raising Kanan, we already saw Kanan's climax. You feel me? We already saw him at the top. We saw him at the bottom. We saw him try to get back to the top, and then we saw how he went out. You feel me? We saw he was a cold-blooded killer. We saw all of that. We saw how he had soft spots for certain people and how he wanted to get back at certain people for things that happened in the past, which they talked about in Power. Right? Now, Raising Kanan is to show us how this beast was created. But, I mean, it's cool. It's a cool concept. It's a cool idea. But it's just generally not going to be as exciting as what's next. You feel me? What's next? What's next for Tommy? What's next for Tariq? What's next for Tasha? You feel me? Raising Kanan isn't what's next. It's how did that happen? You feel me? What happened before? How did this all get started? So, I don't know. Like I said, in the other two books, we already saw how things got started, and now we're seeing them really branch out on their own. And we're interested to see how it's going to turn out for them. We already saw how it turned out for Kanan. But the show in general, it has potential. It does. And honestly, not just Raising Kanan, but Raising Jukebox. I'm glad that they're digging a lot deeper into her story, because she was real mean. She was cold. You feel me? For those of you that have watched Power, you've probably already watched Power if you're watching this. He had to take Jukebox out because there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She was about to pull the trigger. She did not care about nothing Kanan was talking about. She wanted the bread. You feel me? She didn't care if that was her cousin's best friend. She didn't care about none of that. And I'm glad that they're really digging deep into her character, because so far it's been one of the more entertaining things from this series. And I actually do really like the acting from Raquel's character, Rock. I forgot her name. I think it's Fatima Miller. Shout out to her, because she's low-key carrying the show. She's low-key carrying the show. But that's enough talking about the overview. This is just how I personally feel about the show. Could it reach the same status as Book 2 and 4? It could, yeah. I'm not going to say I don't think so, but just my personal preference, this is my least favorite. Not saying I don't like it, because all power is fire. Every book, every universe is fire. But that's just how I feel. But anyway, I done enough talking about how I feel about the overview of the show and why I feel the way I do. But let's get into episode 1. First topic, Howard's alive. Howard is alive. Kanan's daddy is alive. Detective Howard is alive. Kanan thought he took him out. He thought he took him out. That is kind of crazy though. My man was sick and got shot in the chest, and he's still living. That's wild. I don't know how it happened. Obviously, it's for the point of the show, but that's crazy. Kanan shot and missed. Tough. And how y'all feel about Rock making Kanan do it instead of her doing it? Now, technically, it was a smart move because he would have seen it coming from her. But from his son, at a vulnerable moment where he went to go tell him that I'm your dad. And he ended up shooting him. That's wild. So, the saga continues. Will he still try to get to Kanan? Let him know that he's his father? Will he try to bring Rock down? While doing it, will he leave it alone and kind of protect him from the outside in? Because he's still connected to the police department, even though he's not technically active, you know? Will he start working for Unique? There's a lot of questions. But let me get into the next topic, Jukebox. Now, Juke is still heartbroken. Still heartbroken from old girl that OD'd. I forgot her name, but her girlfriend. And then her going through this situation with her father. You know, her father kind of already knew what it was from the jump. But then when he had to look it in his eyes that she was gay, it was an issue for him. He couldn't really swallow that pill. And then that little fighting scene they had, that was real wild. Could you imagine you and your father doing that? Or you and your daughter doing that? You know? That's wild. And over what? Over what? The type of people she likes? The gender she likes? Why she likes what she likes? It's crazy. Crazy. So she's really going through it. And like I said earlier, I like how they're digging into this character. You always see the end result. You always see the monster, but you never see what created the monster. So I like that. I really do. And her character, like I said earlier, she's one of the main things that interest me in this show. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next. But next topic, Detective Burke is not going to let this go. She's not. And he knows that. Howard knows that. That's why he's trying to snoop around, so to speak, and see what she's up to, because he knows she's not going to let it go. And honestly, I do like their dynamic, right? Because before, when he was working, I don't want to say with them, but like, he was involved in both sides, you know, the street life and the NYPD. Not NY, excuse me. And the police department. Well, yeah, it is NYPD. Yeah, my bad. So he pretty much had his hand in both pots, right? He was trying to make sure she stays away so she don't know what he getting into. He ain't really like that she was being so nosy. She was being a little bit too interested, you know, because she had just been brought on and then made his partner, and he was supposed to be teaching her the ropes. And it was kind of a weird connection, you know. She looked up to him And he was trying to actually teach her, but she was doing her job too well, almost. She was being a little too much of a detective. So he kind of tried to steer her in different directions, keep her out of his business. And now, fast forwarding to this day, this moment, this point in the show, Howard is kind of out of the way. But she somewhat cares for him, I guess. And she wants to get to the bottom of it, because he doesn't seem like he cares. Even though he does. But obviously he can't say nothing, because he knows who shot him and why he was shot. So I wonder how she gonna end up dead. I'm not gonna lie. She a little too nosy, you know. I get it's her job, but even what she's doing right now is not part of her job. Like, she's doing extra to try to figure stuff out. You feel me? So I don't know. Like I said, I think she might end up dead. So but next, Rock is running her operation through the projects inside the buildings now. It's pretty smart. If you can keep things quiet, it's going to take a lot of energy and effort. As y'all see, they already running into problems. But it is smart. You feel me? Off the streets and inside, you know? Like, and like she said in the show, as long as they not causing like ruckus throughout the community, the cops not gonna ask no questions. So it really is a smart idea that she's doing it that way. But again, how long is that gonna last? How long is that gonna last? Before somebody says something, somebody slips up, somebody does this, somebody doesn't do that, they're not able to maintain the building. Because at this point, she runs the building. Literally, she runs the building. It might be a smart idea for her to just buy it and then run her money through there and clean it that way. But maybe I'm getting a little too deep into it, but I really thought it was a smart idea, and I thought I should bring that up. So, what y'all think next static is between Marv, Lou, and Raquel? I really can't figure it out. I get it from last season, but even that, like, there's never really been a full connection between the three. I also understand that Rock is leading two boys, right? Two men, not even boys at this point. Two men. Lou the youngest, but he might be the savviest. Marv been doing it, I guess, the longest, because he's the oldest, but he not always the smartest and most strategic. And sometimes he lets his temper get the best of him, as we've seen. So Rock, she's pretty much the cool, calm, collected, strategic, sly, smart one. And she makes everything run better than them two. So is there a little bit of jealousy? I don't know. And then the two brothers, it's like, I don't understand that either. They brothers, they should be close. I don't know. I kind of hope that they go a little deeper into that story, into why they act the way that they do. But currently, Lou trying to do his own thing with the record label, which I rock with. Honestly, it's tough. He following his dreams. He doing his thing, but still handling business to a certain extent, which is kind of why it's a little bit of static now, because he kind of slacking a little bit. He's slacking a little bit. But let's get into the record label. Him and old girl, I think her name was Jess, his girlfriend. They going through it right now. She vouching for her brother Famous, and he telling her, look, he's not it. He's not putting in the work. His last album, mixtape, flopped, and we got a little bit of money left, so we can't just put it all into him. He already proved to us before that he's not that guy. So they kind of beefing back and forth about that. And then she's screwing the other dude. I forgot his name in this show, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Diddy's son. Or is that 50's son? Okay, so he's not actually Diddy's son. He's Kim Porter's son. And I'll Be Sure's dad. But Kim Porter is Diddy's baby mama. So y'all know who I'm talking about though. But anyway, he starts smashing Lou's girl, Jess. And that whole dynamic is really, it's a lot going on. And Lou done found a new singer to put all that money into. The money that they got left, he wants to invest it in her. Now I know this not Empire, but sheesh, is it just me or did her song not sound that good? But again, I get it. It's a drama film. It's not no musical or whatever. But jeez, I was listening. I was like, and the car didn't sound rough, but when she got in the stew, it was sounding rough to me. Maybe I'm just being a little too much of a critic, but neither here nor there. Lou going through his issues with the label, and he's hoping that she could help fix them. You feel me? She could be that diamond in the rough. But we're going to see how that go. Next, what y'all think about Rock as a mom right now? Because now that I think about it, she might be a little bit too smart. Because at first, she wanted to keep him out of the game. But she didn't. How is she going to keep him out of the game if he's literally living in an environment where the game is around him 24/7? Right? And when he finally wants to get in, she acts like, no, you're not ready. Or no, I don't want you in this. No, I don't want you doing that. Right? And now that he is in it, she finally let him in it. She's pushing him to be this and be that. He's scared. He's not built like them. Not yet, anyway. Obviously, we already saw what he became. But he's not built like the rest of them. He's not even built like Juke. He's kind of soft, scared, young. He's still not ready. Like, if you remember season 1, everything she told him to do, he couldn't get it done. Everything that she told him not to do, he did and messed it up. He screwed up so much. It was ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, watching it, I'm like, again, this is the entertaining part. It's like, Jesus, this is not the Kanan I know. Who is this? Who is this kid? You feel me? So, back to my point. He's in the game, and now she's pushing him to be this, pushing him to be that, but he's not that. Right? Forcing him to kill, forcing him to do this and that. And in his head, he's thinking, all right, she finally letting me step up. Finally. But is she creating a monster on purpose? Was this all a part of some master plan to get Kanan to take things over? That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Because even all these different people around her, Symphony, I don't know, was that her sister that they brought to, that they went to Virginia with, when they brought Kanan over there, and then she was like, I could enroll him in school there. Was that her sister or something? Well, it can't be a sister. It's got to be like a cousin or something. Because it's only Lou, Marv, and Rock. So, whoever that was, she telling Rock, look, I can enroll him here. Keep him away from all that stuff. Bada bing, bada boom. You know your mom would have wanted that. Bada bing, bada boom. She's like, nah. He stays with me. He does this with me. He's going to be here with me. Knowing what she's doing is not safe. Symphony tell her the same thing. And that's why they fell out earlier. And he wasn't really trying to say, oh, I know your son better than you, but he was just trying to tell her, look, he can do this. He can be that. Like, don't stand in his way of what he could be. Pretty much, that's all he was saying. And then now he's telling her, look, he's scared. He's not like this. He's not like that. Again, don't stop his potential. Don't stun his growth by whatever you got him into. I don't want to know what it is, but don't do that to him. He got the world in his hands. You feel me? But she doesn't want to hear any of that stuff. She thinks she knows best, which all mothers do. But she's like, I really don't want to hear none of that. I know what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. Now, I'm thinking at first, just from first glance, I'm thinking she's just being stubborn. But I'm thinking this is what she really wants. She wants Kanan to become what he has, or what we've seen. She wanted that. I'm sure she didn't want it to end the way it did, but I think this was all part of some type of master plan. We'll see how it unfolds. I'm really looking forward to seeing when he becomes that guy, because his Kanan right now is he's irritating me a little bit, just a tiny bit. But with that being said, that's going to end off pretty much the recap for this episode. But with that being said, that's going to end up this review, recap, my thoughts on the first episode. And hopefully it continues to get better. This was the first episode. It was pretty decent. Again, it left me with a lot of questions, which means I'll be back for more. You feel me? Once I can see what's going to happen, the show becomes uninteresting and unentertaining. So they're doing their job correctly. Again, I wasn't saying the stuff in the beginning to hate on this show. I like it. That's why I'm watching it. That's why I'm making this video. But out of all the powers, this is my least favorite. So hopefully they can make it a little bit more of a competition. But other than that, man, that's going to end up this video. I'm not going to tell you to like, comment, share, or subscribe, because if y'all rock with me, y'all going to do that anyway. And I'm going.